Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Oh my gosh, that's too loud. All right, guys. So, Tariff Wars Part 2. Let's go. You know what? I have a great deal of anxiety about all of this. On one hand, this is our time. This is the kind of market where there are the greatest opportunities for those of us that are informed and know what's going on. At the same time, I think that there's a lot of economic turmoil and I really need a day job and this is not helping. So, let's get to the charts. Volume profile. All right, so on the open in the treasuries, there was a gap lower, but that was quickly erased. We are essentially where we were on Friday. Kind of interesting, the gap in the treasury in particular. In the S&P 500, it's a little bit of a different story. You got a real gap here, and they have not recovered much at all. And they're pretty close to the lows of the 26th. And I think part of what's happening here is like, there was a report that the tariffs weren't going to happen, that they were going to delay it till March or something like that. I kind of wonder if maybe that report was true. Like maybe that report was true, but then Trudeau opened his stupid mouth. Dang it, Trudeau! It's all your fault. Maybe. That's in my head canon, that's what happened, okay? Oil, you can see oil breaking this strong downtrend as along with all of this. Silver and gold doing pretty well, although that's, you know, after a pretty significant retracement. Kappa also seeing a along with the other metals, a decline and retracement. The Japanese yen, a little bit of a decline here as the dollar showing some real strength. And I mean, that's almost a dollar gap over the weekend. That is so crazy. That is so crazy. And then we've got Bitcoin. Bitcoin, oh my. Okay, well, Bitcoin has been struggling to kind of stay above that 100,000, but over the weekend, very clear gap lower. I was having a little bit of fun reading Reddit and watching all of the cryptocurrency guys being like, why would they sell this makes no sense. Well, it makes perfect sense if you consider that Bitcoin is a risk asset and a risk asset only, but I don't know if I want to dive into that one too much. Vital, welcome to Basic. Oh, thank you so much. You know what, guys? So can I? Maybe I almost feel like getting rid of the subscriptions on YouTube. But you know what? I would rather you guys do is I have a $3 Discord where I've been posting stuff. I would rather you go and get but you know what? I think I can make it so that if you are on the YouTube, actually, you know, I'll check on that probably tomorrow because I'm watching the kids today. But tomorrow I'll check on that. Make sure that those of you that are subscribing here on the YouTube get access to the $3 Discord in addition to the regular Discord. Missed you guys so much. Well, we missed you so much because you subscribed. But you have a plan. What's your plan? You have a plan? Because I'm running out of ideas. I'm looking at this and I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to get a job before unemployment cuts out, will I? We got like 2 months left, and the market is not looking better. You know, the job market is not looking better, and I do have some ideas about ways in which we could like improve and increase this business. Oh, by the way, got the video coming out today about the inventory cost basis. But for those of you guys that are watching the stream, you already saw that. But you know, it was just a little bit more professionally done. Not that much. I added a bunch of videos. I actually, man, when I was looking at this, you know, I'm like, okay, let's go through the charts and find some examples. And it was literally like, all you got to do is just, every day you'll find one. Every day you'll find a hard bounce off those lines. It's so crazy there's no way in my mind that could just be confirmation bias. But I think I only believe that because I don't completely understand how to prove it empirically. Got some good results off of doing the testing for co-integration, but that might be flawed. Because I don't really know what I'm doing on that one. But oh man, I really do think, to be honest with you guys, at this point, we've been playing around with it and watching its behavior for long enough. I really do think that indicator is basically showing you where the market maker position is. And that in and of itself is not necessarily a predictive thing. And like, is it going to go up or down in the next 5 minutes? But it is a very, very useful thing to kind of try and game out. If you know what the other flows are and you're trying to, the last thing that you're trying to sort out is how the market maker might react to it, that indicator has the answer. So, you know, those are the sorts of things where it's like, maybe we can grow the channel a little bit with those. I would like to do more stuff with stocks, but I don't know. We'll see. Would like to make my own platform, but I think that I would need to obtain funding to do that. I don't know. You go back and forth between like I need funding versus I can bootstrap it, but then it's like it's not going to be bootstrapped by the time I need to move over to that shift. So I don't know what I'll do. Why do I feel like Trump is trying to create economic conditions that will mandate significant interest rate cuts? I think that may actually be the case, Uzi. I do. I really do. I think that Donald Trump looks at this economy and says, I have room to work. Like, if we were really on the edge of a recession and the economy looked really, really poor, I don't think that he would be doing this stuff. I really don't. Especially with Canada and Mexico. Okay, so can I segue for a brief second on something else that I think is important to know and pay attention to, and then come back to that. Donald Trump has premised the tariffs on Canada and Mexico not securing their borders. So Mexico pretty much lets everybody come up through its southern border, and Canada, they've basically been practicing like open border policy for the last 8 years, and they're allowing all sorts of chemicals in. So they're saying that they're allowing the precursor chemicals to fentanyl. They make the fentanyl in Canada and then import it in. And there's more like terrorists trying to come in through the northern border than the southern border. So these are some of the reasons why Donald Trump is like, you need to protect your border, right? So all Canada and Mexico has to do to not have tariffs. And by the way, this is like 40% of Canada's economy. Like this could just create like instant recession in Canada. Okay. All they got to do is just change their border laws. Like get rid of Trudeau, put Pierre Poilievre in there, and he will change the immigration laws and they will take the tariffs off. It's that simple. It's that simple. They would rather have the open border policy than get rid of Donald Trump's tariffs. That's what this is going to turn into. You watch, like, because here's what I think has been happening, like what the left is thinking right now. Because I saw this this Reddit post. It was like, Donald Trump wants to negotiate with the leaders of Canada and Mexico now, and they're like, I bet you that all of Donald Trump's rich friends are really upset, and all of those Silicon Valley guys are really upset, and so they are forcing him to now go and back off. And I'm like, okay, so the guy that said that he was going to use tariffs to negotiate better trade deals is using tariffs, and now he wants to negotiate better trade deals, and we're surprised that he wants to negotiate. Like, what? Are you guys paying attention? This is so dumb, right? But I got all these comments about it. They're like, no, his rich buddies are so upset. They think, the left thinks, that if they flip out as much as possible and make this into as big of a deal as they possibly can, that the rich people will force Trump's hand and make it stop. The problem with that is, number one, just remember, right? It's so weird, man. Hold on, water break here. Just remember, what do you need to remember? You need to remember that the tariffs against China that were put on China in Trump's first term were never taken off. Y'all forgot about that one, didn't you? Yeah, they put on all these tariffs. It was this huge thing. Everybody was flipping out. It was good because and then Biden kept them. So tariffs have an initial impact, and then everybody adjusts. Of course, you can always raise tariffs again, right? That's the thing. But so the impact of the tariffs the first time around was not the end of the world. And I would say that from the metrics and the labor market and everything else, that this economy is stronger than the economy that we had when Donald Trump first did tariffs the first time around. In some respects, not overall, but in some respects it is stronger. The labor market in particular seems stronger. Except for that there's this underlying weakness. A quarter of all unemployed people have been unemployed for a year. The number of people unemployed for 6 months or more has doubled. So there is a section of the market that's really, really weak. I think there's this thing going on here now. Okay, so you need to have interest rates and you need to have, a fiat currency so that you can adjust the monetary supply based on current conditions, right? Problem. The conditions in the economy vary between industries. So some industries probably need to be cooled down and some industries need to be stimulated right now. And you only have one interest rate. What do you do? Well, you can use this and introduce a deflationary measure, right? And that's what Donald Trump thinks he's doing to some extent, based on what he says and his economic advisors and how they work and everything. I think that they do kind of think like, oh, we have room, we can negotiate, like the economy can be hurt yay much. It's okay, right? But the market views the introduction of tariffs as an inflationary risk, not a deflationary risk, right? So this is where it gets really, really interesting, and in particular presents some opportunities for us. They're selling these treasuries right now. It really seems to me that the market thinks that this is a short-term, a hawkish sell treasuries opportunity. But there is a point at which tariffs become enough that it is a deflationary impact if it really, really hurts the economy enough. Because, yeah, the cost of some individual goods will go up. Cost of goods that were probably too cheap to begin with, frankly. But if it hurts the economy overall, that's not what I was going to say. The cost of some individual goods will go up, but that will come at the expense of other goods. And if that coming at the expense of other goods creates a lower demand overall, that could weaken the economy and then create a situation where nobody's buying anything and then you have to stimulate the economy. So it can very quickly turn into a deflationary thing. And last time, that's kind of what happened. That's my recollection from it, at least, was that there was a certain point at which it was like you were buying the treasuries because the economy was getting weak. So I think, Uzi, we don't know, we can't read his mind, but I think that your theory is entirely plausible. Entirely plausible that Donald Trump thinks I've inherited a really strong economy. I have some room to work. I can, hold Canada and Mexico's feet to the fire. And so here's going back to that thing that I was like, this is really important to mention, is that all they have to do is like fix their border. And so if you read like the Goldman report, because there's been quite a bit of disagreement about it on Wall Street about how this goes, right? The Matt Hazius and the guys at Goldman are relatively optimistic, actually. And they think that, oh, like they're just going to change their laws and then he takes them off and then like everything's fine. And it's actually good. And that can really help sentiment and all of these sorts of things. Like it could be really good. Like the year could be really good if Canada and Mexico do the right thing. Do what Donald Trump wants them to do. What I want them to do. I want them to fix their border. Of course I do. Amir says, I buy gold. Well, I tell you what, man, gold has definitely been the trade. For sure. Now, with all that in mind, because I was thinking about, on TikTok, I used to do the, here's the things that are going on in markets. But I used to call it just capitalism. On today's episode of capitalism, but really it's on today's episode of markets are perfectly efficient and never wrong. On today's episode of markets are perfectly efficient and never wrong. S&P 500 gaps lower over the weekend because Donald Trump implements tariffs that he said that he campaigned on and said that he was going to implement ever since he won and warned a whole week for. And wait, what? You know what I think would be the like the funniest scenario? This is what I want. This is what I want to see is they close the gap. I think that would just be. Can you picture that? It's like, oh yeah, actually, yeah, perfect. Markets are perfectly efficient. I think it would be so funny if they close the gap. I can only hope. Okay, just because they said that, they're gonna open up and just go head straight lower, probably, huh? Okay. Oh, you know what? The camera's a little bit dark. I'm gonna adjust it here. So hold on a second. That's a little bit better. I like that. That way the light's a little bit less intense. I should maybe get like an ND filter or something. What are you talking about? 181, 182 week cycle has topped. You're talking about the number of weeks? By the way, they're hitting the inventory cost basis short at the moment. So this is a situation where my guess is what happens in this one. My guess is they go sideways for a little bit. Maybe they come back up, but then eventually go lower. Like the sellers are trying to take control right now. So you will see a little bit of rebalancing, but then the sellers will continue to push. The thing that we got to remember is that these lines kind of tell us like what the market maker's situation is, how they're going to react and so forth. But the thing that's going to determine where it ultimately goes is the new orders. And if we got people selling this, it's going to go lower. And I think that the sentiment and everything else, today could be a day, well, like I said, there's that gap in the S&P 500. So that could reverse. We got to watch the dollar from over here. The dollar, I think, is going to be key in determining what this does. But we could see the dollar recover and all of these markets kind of reverse. Well, if the market flipped around here at this particular point, that would be kind of, it's possible too. It's almost impossible to transfer drugs by air, so a lot coming through land borders. They have to be closed and monitored for people not to spend income for crap. Percentage is huge, more so than reported, yeah. Dude, the whole fentanyl thing is just wild to me, like that there's that many people taking it and dying from it and everything. Like, how is that happening? I don't get it. By the way, Vita, you didn't tell me what your plan was. I didn't see it. Maybe you posted it, but I didn't see it. Maybe you did you like put a link in your, I don't know. Or maybe you just forgot to tell me what your plan was. I was excited. I was like, Vital knows what we got to do to fix things. It's the #1 cause of death for Americans between 18 to 45. That's, yeah. Like, I don't get it, like, because my understanding of it is, maybe my understanding of it is just like really naive, okay? My understanding of it is you could go and like get drugs off the street and not know that it's fentanyl and it just straight up kills you, right? So my ex-wife's brother died. I never met him. He died, I think from a meth overdose or something like that. His friends gave him something, and he died. And my ex-wife, she was always telling him like, this is stupid. You're messing with stuff that you shouldn't be messing with, etc., etc., etc. But like, with as deadly as fentanyl could be, like, are there really people out there that'd be like, nah, it's no big deal, it'd be fine, etc.? Like, everybody knows that that's like just deadly stuff. You don't touch it, right? So how can there be that many people taking it and dying from it? Unless it's really all just being laced with other drugs. They think that they're taking something else. And if it was that widespread, that's still a big deal, you know? And you know, drugs has been a weapon. It's an economic weapon. The UK kept China under its thumb for a long time by having China addicted to opium. I've heard some story, and now I'm kind of getting into conspiracy theory land, but there's been a lot of reports that basically to the effect that they were allowing farmers in Afghanistan to grow poppies and, you know, make heroin so that they would give it to our enemies. It's totally a thing that happens, man. Drugs and porn and gambling, yeah. So I'm looking at this. One of the things I think about with the cost basis is like, okay, how do you convince them that it works? Okay, it came to that line, it bounced. But then somebody might say, well, but that was a previous area of support. Well, if you were the support and resistance trader, you'd be looking down here, right? You would have been like, oh, how come it didn't come all the way back? Yeah, because this is where the cost basis was. Okay, plan. You're going to Top Step. They have all the treasury notes, 15 contracts, 9K target for 150 a month. You'll make it in a few weeks easy and post on YouTube how you cracked arms. Wait, did they really? I thought that all of them, I mean, was it Top Step didn't? Top Step still has treasuries? But then you're also saying that on Top Step I can trade 15 contracts? I don't know. If what you say is true, I may have to do it. I would feel like incredibly hypocritical for doing that, though. Yeah, we protected poppy fields there. One of the first things the Taliban did after we left was to outlaw poppy cultivate. Yeah. Well, when I get into when I say it's conspiracy theory territory, like I think it's unquestionable that that happened, but it's a conspiracy theory that it was like U.S. policy, right? Okay, let's that's that. Oh no, well, now that's interesting. Oh, I see what you're telling me. You're telling me they're having a sale. I gotcha. I was like, isn't the 50K combine normally 165 a month, and then you only get 5 contracts? So I don't know if that actually helps me, man, because I think that if I had like 10 contracts, I could meet the $3,000 target pretty quickly. But 9,000 on 15 contracts is harder. Right? Like the issue is that the leverage that you get with the treasuries, essentially the number of contracts that you get doesn't change based on the instrument that you're using. So I could put it this way. I have a video about this soon. Let's come over here and open up a treasury chart. And we're going to open up ES. And we're going to open up like a 30-minute chart, let's say. Okay. Okay, so here's a 30-minute chart of the treasuries. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I have my ATR, the newest version of the ATR that hasn't, this isn't in the release that I'll upload that here in a second. If you're on the $3 Discord, though, you already have the newest version of stuff. But this is something that I changed since then. Multi-ATR. Okay, so I can change this from points to dollars. And now it will tell me the range of that bar in terms of dollars. Okay. So the range of the true range of an average 30-minute bar in the S&P 500 is $700. That is to say, if you bought the low and sold the high of the average bar, you make $700. We could also take it up to a day and say, what is it on a day basis? We'll do that in a second. But I'm going to duplicate in new tab. And we're going to change this to ZN. The average 30-minute bar in treasuries is $103. So, if I can trade 5 contracts in ES, I can trade 5 ES contracts on those combines, right? It's more if you're doing micros, right? But if it's a full ES contract, I get 5. That means that to get the same amount of like quote leverage or like amount of, absolute change in my account size, I would need to trade 7 times that. So to meet that $3,000 target, I would be trading 35 contracts. 7 times 5. Right? 5 contracts times 7. The change in leverage. Let's do it on a daily basis. Let's go to 1 day over here. Okay, 1 day average for the S&P 500 is 4,000. 1 day for the treasuries is 500. So that's almost 8, right? I should be able to trade 7 to 8 contracts. So until you're able to trade 7 to 8 contracts on ZN, I don't know if trading the treasuries for the combines really makes sense. If they had allowed that and I was trading bigger size, then when I was trading the combines, I probably would have passed them. I probably would have fallen in the same trap that everybody else does. Start thinking that I'm God and all of these sorts and I've figured it all out, and then tell everybody I'm a profitable trader, and then we wouldn't have learned all of these other great things that we've learned about the markets, right? So there you go. I don't know, Uzi. All I know is that I if I was popular and I said that you know, there would probably be people telling me that I'm spreading misinformation. So I think you're probably right, but I don't think I can prove that. Anyways, so one of the things I'm doing in my next video is like, okay, so if you want to say only trade 1 to 2% of your account per day, right? I mean, if it's 1%, then in order to draw down your account all the way, you'd have to lose like 100 times in a row, right? Wouldn't that be right? But then what if, like, how much of the volatility of the market are you exposing yourself to? Because the issue that you run into, I think, is that you say, okay, I have, what's like the minimum loss that I can handle? Okay, I can afford to lose $50 on a micro contract, right? So then I times that by 50 or 100 or whatever, and I get to the $1,000, $2,000 account to start, or something like that, right? I think that's the way that a lot of people think. But the problem with that is that most bars in ES here, if we go back to the 30-minute, okay, 70. Most bars are more than 70. So you can't even expose yourself to all of the volatility in a 30-minute period. And basically the gist of it is the more volatility that you are able to expose yourself to, the more you can potentially make from it. Of course, the more that you can potentially lose, but you know, you could be completely right about something and lose out just because of the volatility. So you kind of want to be able to hold more than just what the average volatility is. So if you just held for a certain amount of time period, like 30 minutes, how much volatility would you expose yourself to? So, and then use that to determine how big of an account you would want to use. Yeah, so we can do that. We have a strategy analyzer. I'm gonna come over here, and I have, well, it has to be an optimization backtest, and then I have this one called rand baselines timed exit. Okay, so exit bars here is going to be 30. That is, I'm going to stay in for 30 minutes. Okay, and then the seed, I'm going to do 1,000 iterations. And I'm going to go back to 2020. No, 2019. Go back to 2019. Where you're going to include commissions. Okay, so it's going to take a random trade. It's going to hold it for 30 minutes. It's going to do that every day for 5 years. We'll see what the average drawdown is. But we have to select an instrument to run it on. Yes. Right. We want to keep all 1,000 of them in our results. All right, and there it's going. What platform is the resting orders indicator? What do you mean by that? Pentalag says greetings, good morning. You've been here every day for a while now. I appreciate it so much. The live stream is growing a little bit. That's not trading. Yeah, it's Ninja Trader 8. It's always Ninja Trader 8. You talking about the thing up in the, what he said, resting orders. You talking about in the upper left? I'm so confused. What? I mean, you use that indicator. How do you not know what that? I am so confused. Like, you ask me questions about that. Are you yourself today, D? Is somebody masquerading as you? What that is? Or maybe it's a different. Doesn't D have a blue name? I don't know. Okay. Oh, it's my first time here. Okay. I'm sorry, dude. We have somebody that comes into this live stream that often goes by the name D, but I think that his name would be Blue because he's been around long enough that he has like the privileges so that he can post links. And he messages me about the indicator. He asks so many questions about the indicators. He probably messages me more than anybody else. And so I'm sitting here like, how do you not know? Okay, I use Ninja Trader 8. So I have an indicator package that and that's what that is, those resting orders. That's telling you metrics about the resting liquidity in the depth of market. And you can download that indicator for Ninja Trader 8 at speculatorseth.com. It is currently $200 for a lifetime license. So you just pay one time, have it for forever. Having a video coming out later today about one of the indicators. This is kind of the most nicest. What mic do you use? This is a Rodecaster Procaster, I think is what it's called. It's a Rode. It's a Rode microphone. It's a Rode dynamic mic. I need a new audio interface so that it's louder. I'm sorry if the stream is not loud enough for you guys, but okay. So anyways, you get the max drawdown of all of these, essentially. You can see like the best trades, the best and the worst. There's actually some that didn't draw down much at all. Okay, the minimum that they ever drew down was 6,000. Over 5 years, minimum that it drew down 6,000. Okay. So what we could do is we could look at a distribution of that. So we're going to do that. We're going to R. Density drawdown, this right here. Okay, so I think I need to select just only certain lines of this. There you go. Well, I don't like the color that it uses, but then you get a density plot. So the density plot peaks at about 17,000 and then kind of goes down and then once you get to like 60,000, there's not very much. So if you take 1 0 off of that to make it micro contracts, that means that you should start with an account that is somewhere between $2,000 and $5,000. What do you think of that as a way for determining how big your account should be? So you're basing it on volatility, kind of doing a Monte Carlo simulation. So I'm thinking about making a video like that. Bitcoin is down 6%, and it's really only been the past over the weekend that it went, right? But ugly over there. The Bitcoin community is really unhappy, I must say. So I really like the Bitcoin subreddit. I can't lie to you. I really like I remember when that first came out. I was like, this subreddit is so dumb. Like, I hate Bitcoin, but this subreddit is so dumb. But now I love it. There's so many funny things, and like, there's people that actually want to learn. So they want to learn because they don't like it, and they see that it's bad, but they want to learn more about what's going on, and you can actually teach them stuff about the market. So I love that subreddit. And so you get all of the stuff, and then I follow like the I don't really go to the official one too much, but go to r/cryptocurrency and stuff like that. And I tell you what, man, the cryptocurrency community, they are so sensitive. And it's like, when they're winning, it's like, oh, we're all geniuses, and have fun being poor, yada yada. And then when it's down 5%, it's just like, everybody's like, oh, it hurts so much. They're just there's like so much wailing over there. It's so crazy to me. It can be like that. They turn on a dime like that. I don't think that Bitcoin can go much further before you start having problems with MSTR again, too. Like, MSTR's stock price has been getting pummeled. And what they're doing is like leveraged. So I don't know what the point is, like how far it's probably really far away, but there's a point where that goes so low that like MSTR just collapses, and then cryptocurrency is just absolutely screwed. I think it would be the ultimate irony. I'm not trying to be like, like pro this president or that president or anything. Like, the election is over. Now it's just, let's watch and see what they do, right? There's nothing I can do about what Donald Trump does. It's not my circus. I just happen to know a lot about the clowns. That's all. I think it would be the ultimate irony if Bitcoin like collapsed under Donald Trump's watch because they're being so overtly pro Bitcoin. And then like MSTR collapses and the whole cryptocurrency ecosystem collapses, and then it's possible. Hi Seth, is it possible to get a 14-day trial version of the Jigsaw? Dom asks. Marek Simco. That's an interesting name. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so Marek, yes, no, but yes. No, but yes. They do not have a trial version of Jigsaw, but they have a money-back guarantee. So it's extremely common, actually, for people to go try Jigsaw, try it out for like a month or whatever, decide it's not for them, and then ask for a refund. It's quite common. And I mean, like, it's expensive. It's expensive software. It's like $500. Plus, there's like a monthly live trading license. So unless that method really, really jives with you, not everybody gets it. But that's the way that they do it. I wish that they had like a trial version, but there's. I understand why they don't want to deal with the issues that come with, like your platform getting hacked and everything when you have a trial platform. Probably would be more popular if it had a trial though, right? I think if I have my own platform, I would prefer to have a setup like NinjaTrader where anybody can download and try it and it works for the most part. But then to really, if you're really going to trade with it, you have to use the license. Would you trade the market? I think I would trade the market today. Yes. I should have taken that reversal, man. You see, that's how, man. Well, I think I was wrong on the call anyways, right? I wasn't necessarily saying like trying to make a call, but I said, I think that it will kind of at least base here a little bit and then maybe go lower. That maybe this flow will continue. I'm always looking for whatever trend's going on to continue, right? But that's not what happened. They hard bounced off of it. Whew, that was a good trade. I should have taken that one, but I wasn't even looking for that direction, so. I think now we wait for the S&P 500 to start up and adjust. There is PMIs today. There is the S&P manufacturing PMI and then ISM manufacturing PMI at 10 o'clock Eastern time. So that usually results in decent amount of action. For the time being, though, I don't have a trade. I think this is a market that I would trade, but we don't have a trade. Oh, see, there's the real D. Somebody's come in here masquerading as you, asking questions about the chart. And I'm like, how do you not know? Like this other D was asking me about the resting orders indicator. And I'm like, how do you not know what that is? I was really like, did D lose his mind? Is that, dude? It was. You go back and watch it. You're gonna find it so funny because I was really time to change your name. Yeah, again, like D probably messages me about the indicators more than anybody else, asking questions about like what they're actually showing and things. I often, he asks like really in-depth questions too. Like I often have to go and like read my own code to remember the specifics because he gets so in details about it. So when this other D was asking that question, I was like, how could you ask me questions about this every day? How could you not know what platform that is? When do you get the blue tag? So the only reason that some people have the blue tag was because they were trying to post a link once. That's really all it really comes down to. You have been around for a long time, haven't you, AO? You ask that, I'll give you the blue tag. Just only use it to post links. Wait, how do I change it? I'll add as moderator. There we are. Standard. If you start banning people, then I'm gonna be like, It's like we're not large enough that you guys would ever need to do any moderatorship for me. Okay, if we had like 500 viewers, then maybe I would need you guys to like ban spammers and stuff. But nope, it's primarily so you can post links. Okay. Do you have a Discord? I do. I have 2 Discords. So there's the first Discord, if you go into the video description, that is what we call the Futures Trading Discord. So it actually existed before this channel and is not explicitly the Seth Discord. It's actually linked in the Futures Trading Discord. So it's kind of funny because they just linked us. You know, like we never asked them to or anything. They're just like, we're going to link this to Discord because we like this one. And sometimes I'll get trolls come in and they assume that it's all like that I'm the same person that manages the futures trading subreddit and all of these. And no, it's not like that. And it's so funny that they make those assumptions. There was this guy over the weekend that was kind of trolling me. But then I also have created a paid Discord. It's only $3 a month. $3 a month you get into the paid Discord. And I am trying to post a lot more of my serious analysis, like breaking news and things that I think are worth warning people about that not everybody might catch. And I'm also like, if we're doing coding here on the live stream, I post that code over there. So trying to give you reasons to pay for the $3 Discord. But the reason we created the $3 Discord is that with a public Discord, you get so much spam. And I've done everything in my power to deal with the spam, but there's only so much I can do without being able to ban people from Discord itself. But having a paywall, even if it's the smallest paywall that you can have, eliminates all that. And the riffraff and everything. So a paid $3 Discord is great. I should probably I need to promote that more. I need to bring that up every stream. But if you had $1 million, you could go far, maybe. I think if I had $1 million, I would probably try and swing. Well, no, not with $1 million. If you give me like $20 million, then I would probably try and create a swing trade. Family office sort of a thing, right? You'd have 500 trades before you go first. Oh, I'd have a lot more than 500. I think that if I suddenly came across a large amount of money, I wouldn't like immediately size up necessarily. I would just start doing what I'm doing with the sim trades, because when they take, oh, by the way, I haven't changed this over here. When I do live trades, I'm very much doing them on these micros. But I would like to be able to just trade full ZN. I've having decent success with that, with multiple contracts and everything. So if I came across a bunch of money, that's probably what the first thing I would do, is I would just trade 2 or 3 contracts on ZN. But it's easy to forget about these micros if I'm not taking live trades on them. That's where the thing that I think about, it keeps coming to my mind over and over. I do want to do it, is to get DX feed and have a stock down here more. When we did it the first time, you know, it didn't really change much. Like, the people weren't coming into the stream to watch it, but you know, I can do a better job. I can do a better job. Yeah, bank can hire you. So if a, you know, like if Goldman Sachs wanted to hire me again, I would probably do it. And we wouldn't be able to do the live stream anymore. We'd still be able to have a YouTube channel, but we'd probably have to change the nature of the content on the YouTube channel and maybe shift it more towards just interviewing people, I guess. But I don't think that I'm going to get hired by a bank. Goldman Sachs is on a hiring freeze, and there was a job for me at another bank and I didn't get it. So see, it's really frustrating because, like, you want to be like, there's something that I should be doing, there's something that I can do. You're leveling up and all of these other things to get a job, right? A day job. But it really seems to me that it's the market, and that it's just kind of going to be a little bit up to luck. So I'm eating lots of spicy eel and all of these. Oh, I think you misunderstood what I was saying by DX feed. So there's a data provider named DX feed that for about $120 a month, I think it is, you get NASDAQ total view, and they have a plugin that allows you to use it with NinjaTrader. I have a video about this. I'm sure you probably watched it. And that allows us to do order flow on stocks. So yeah, so for a month, I did that for a month, and we're like, let's see if it like changes the viewership on the stream, and it really didn't. But I'm thinking back on it, and I'm like, dude, was I really doing a good job of picking the best stocks to watch that day and putting it in the title and all of that sort of stuff? You know? I think that trying to make things a little bit more general. Oh, and make TikToks or make shorts showing stuff on individual stocks. I think that if I did that, you know, that could really increase viewership. It could broaden the scope of the channel. So I'd like to do that. But the issue right now is I've put the money into editing better videos. I don't know if you guys enjoyed the better videos. I think if anything, paying for a video editor has been beneficial because we're making more content. You know, I'm trying to get 2 videos out a month just for him. And then I have time I can make other ones that are just me, and that's what I did. So that's the one that's coming out after this stream. So I only have so much. So I did that basically takes the income that we're getting from the stream overall, at least the consistent income. So in order to do things like DX feed, I think that I would need to be either getting more of the indicators sold a month or, you know, have a day job again. Because, you know, there's only so much money saved up for it. So I kind of have to manage it. It's kind of been like, okay, I'm gonna give as much leeway as I can. Gonna try and push as hard as we can. Of course, we're gonna make mistakes, but to try and at the very least, if it's not enough to live on, just even if it was making $100 more a month, that would be beneficial to the channel. But basically, we have until the end of March. If we don't have some sort of a breakthrough by the end of March, then I probably have to end that experiment. But I don't know what I do with myself overall. Not to be a buzzkill, but there is a point at which I'm kind of like, well, okay, that's maybe like the only free time that I get, and if I need to spend it on business, trying to make side income, is there a point at which I say, well, it's not going to happen from the YouTube channel, and I need to go and put it into something else? But I can't imagine what that something else would be. I guess one thing that we can do is we could have certain days where I don't stream and just make content, but because he says it's crazy that you haven't landed a job yet. I know. Well, it's not like there hasn't been opportunities. I don't know. The last one that was kind of like a bank, I was kind of surprised that they didn't take me, but I don't know. They had some sort of hang up where it was between me and somebody else, and they picked the other person. No, I haven't turned down a job offer. No. But like what I'm saying is like, okay, so I think that I've been through like 7 where like I got through the interviews and like they really interviewed me, right? But there was only like 2 or 3 of those that where I was really a good fit and like I really stood a solid chance of getting picked. And yeah, there was one where it was like, I can totally do it, but they ended up relying very heavily on some technologies that I was not as familiar with. And so probably there's somebody that was doing, like in that particular case, it was Helm. Like I've done a lot of Kubernetes, I've used Helm, but I wasn't messing around with Helm templates every day, right? So probably they picked somebody that's messing around with Helm templates every day on that one, right? But then the other person was probably an Alphabet person. Are you referring to like it was a DEI hire sort of a thing? Or are you saying an Alphabet person like Google? Because if you mean an Alphabet person like Google, then probably, yeah. I'm competing with people from Google, Microsoft, Apple, etc. And that makes it really hard. That's why I think that there's this group of people that's like they've been unemployed for more than 6 months. And like a quarter of them have been unemployed for a year. It's because these are all of the people that don't have the resume to compete with Google and Microsoft. And my experience has been that what is on your resume is like 80% of the hiring process. What do you think ZB would be doing the next hours? Well, so we have some PMIs in 15 minutes and then in 15 minutes after that. So they're probably going to react very heavily to that. Then more broadly, it kind of looks like that there was some selling at the beginning of the session, but that has given way to overall net buying. And this is in spite of the dollar essentially going sideways. So if the PMIs end up being like nothing burgers, it would maybe be continued buy in the treasuries. But let's see how I feel about it after the PMIs come out. So anyways, yeah, it really is like, oh, am I doing something wrong? I need to get better interviewing skills? Do I need to be like networking with people more? Things like that. But it really seems to me like that I can't escape from the dynamics of the markets. I need an interest rate cut here. Is what it is. We'll see. It's really frustrating. Very difficult to keep up your motivation, right? Under of the Universe. That's a new name. Welcome. Well, we're back to the open in ZN, so that's all. Just getting some selling in oil coming through here, by the way. Oh, Jason Furman here on Twitter has such a good comment. Politicians want home prices to be high for home owners and low for home buyers. They want the dollar to be strong for importers and weak for exporters. They want high interest rates for savers, but low ones for borrowers. Any others on the list? It really is. It really is like that. And but what has happened is that in each one of those cases for the last 50 years, one side has dominated the other side and you don't get any balance. And then when we say, oh, well, but we need to get balance, and then everybody's like, well, that will be bad for the economy. Well, but what you've been doing has been bad for one part of the economy. Do you think that Tulsi and Patel got it, or do you mean like got in? I don't know. You know, I haven't been following the confirmation process too carefully, to be honest with you. I haven't been seeing that much about it. I mean, I see like the key moments from congressional testimony and that sort of a thing, but maybe it's because in the end, after all the theatrics, they probably do get in. So I think I want to start zeroing in on the treasury here a little bit, because I am starting to detect a little bit of a shift in the flows. It's very, very short term so far, but they are definitely I would also say that it's kind of like reverting back to the mean after that relatively strong bounce. Okay, so what I'm seeing is that it seems to me that this movement is driven more by some currency correlations than they are the actual flows in the instrument. Because the volume is overall net sell throughout this period, but they've come back up. So, and I don't know what the Japanese yen only has a little bit further to go before they probably hit some resistance. So I think that makes me, I think I can relax until after the PMIs. I was seeing something in the flows, but I think that kind of showed me that we're not. It's just a shakeout. Whales are buying while retail is sailing. Sailor, you're buying right, Sailor. Last week, MicroStrategy did not sell any shares of Class A common stock under its at-the-market equity offering program and did not purchase any Bitcoin. Okay. Why not? Oh man, I went skiing on Saturday. Some of the best powder I ever had in my life, man. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. And then I come back to Discord and people are arguing in the Discord. I'm like, guys, it's a weekend. Why do you want make me do something on the weekend? I use volume and technical analysis. I feel dumb when I see your screen. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so the thing that when I was seeing this guy try and argue with everybody on Discord, because some people were like, it's just ruining a good chat room and yada yada yada. I'm like, oh, it's the weekend. It's like not a big deal. Like, I find it entertaining, and I did. But it also kind of made me see like, okay, if all you're doing is essentially gambling, like how does that change your perspective on things? And I can kind of see, I can kindly see a lot of the way that these people think, and so I think that it was kind of an interesting, who say, little thing. What was it that he was talking about? Yeah, I don't know. There's been a lot of conversations since then, so I don't remember. Oh yeah, it was like he would say things like, oh, you sell an indicator, of course. Must because you're not a profitable trader. Okay, well, if all you're doing is gambling, then that's where I could see that you believe in this dream that you're gonna make like millions of dollars from it, right? But if you're actually like really understand what's going on, then you'd understand that anybody that really knows what they're doing would never make their whole income just day trading futures. It's like a crazy to make your whole income day trading futures as a retail trader. It just is. And what happens is they kind of console themselves saying, well, I don't need this thing and I don't need this thing, because they can't afford them. Oh, I don't need a new squawk. Well, yeah, if you can't afford a new squawk is an important tool. Is it going to make you a millionaire? No. Could it pay for itself? Like, can you make $100 a month off of the information that is given to you from a news squawk? Yes, at the right scale, yes. It was interesting because like my reaction to it was different. So I think that he's like, okay, so if you're just a gambler and you're trying to have an argument, then like what would be the most devastating thing that you could say to somebody? Oh, well, you must not be a profitable trader, because that's what's going on in their head. Is that their whole thing is I will prove my value to society by becoming a quote unquote profitable trader. That's all that's in their mind. And so they come in their mind, it says more about them than it does about you. That's the most devastating thing that they can say. Well, you're not a profitable trader. Well, I mean, I've done pretty okay. My most recent trading performance, I'm really happy with it. I don't want to make trading my whole income. That's dumb. Yes, I'm a really good programmer. I want to make money from the programming that I do. I want to make good tools. And I really believe that the tools that I have and I sell at speculatorsstuff.com are good tools. I think that they beat the competition, the other tools that I see out there, hands down. And, you know, to criticize that is just like, well, do you not want good indicators? Oh, okay. Well, you don't have good indicators. That's probably why. NVIDIA gapped below the DeepSeek low on this. Did it really? I might have to go look at that. Because again, I'm interested to see if the S&P 500 tries to close the gap today. Like that, all of the selling is on the gap, and then through the session they just buy the dip. But they haven't busted through this line right here yet at like 59.90, I think it is. Let's come to TradingView. Look at stocks. You're right. It's pushed to new. Let's not say the gap. Let's say new monthly low. New monthly low in NVIDIA. That's concerning. Somebody boosted my script again. That's good. That's a good script. Again, I think the most powerful indicator that we have, or let's say unique one, inventory cost basis, does it once again. Of course, it could have done this. So, but it will bounce off of those lines every day. I think that there's really something to it. I'm not going to say that it's like you can use this and just this, you can build a profitable strategy off of it, but it does. I do think that we have enough evidence to suggest that this is showing us market maker positions and that the market can react to that sometimes. So very useful, very powerful, I think, especially in the treasuries, And I have a full video about that coming out in an hour. Flip a coin and say north. I'm concerned. Well, so what are they looking for on the S&P manufacturing PMI is 50.1, and I think that the numbers that we got on the services was a little bit lighter than we expected. So I'm also thinking it'll be a little bit lighter. I don't think that this one is going to be a huge deal though. I'm gonna say yeah, it is by maybe the treasuries could bust the highs. We'll see. But I don't think it'll be a huge move. Okay, here we go. 51.20. I'm wrong. It was better than expected. So a little bit of a sell there in the treasuries. But again, not too much. So we have to wait for the ISM manufacturing PMI. They're looking for a reading of 49.9. Well, if that came in above 50, that could change a few things. At the same time, does the PMIs actually matter if like everything's going to shift because of the tariffs? I don't know. Yeah, ISM PMIs are pretty big. Like, you didn't see the liquidity pull for that one. Not very much, at least. You'll see the liquidity pull for the ISM. How do you see the result of the news faster than a Forex Factory? I'm using Financial Juice. I have a lifetime subscription to Financial Juice. So, well, I hear it in my ear, but I also get, they pop up on this right here. Did I give it to you faster than it showed up on the Forex Factory? Because there's like a few second delay. So if that was even faster than that, then maybe I need to delay myself a little bit more. Because I don't want to be giving you data that, like, you know, would make it so that you never buy Financial Juice. I don't think that Financial Juice would appreciate that, right? Yes, even with its included delay. Okay, well, I don't know. What part of it is like you see the reaction to the market, so you kind of do know what's going on at that point, anyways, right? Because the kind of trades that I look for are ones where it's like, yeah, maybe there's a little bit of a move, but I know that it's probably gonna cause the market to move like all day, and so I can still get in. That sort of a thing. So I think a lot of the time that the speed doesn't matter. But I can remember, especially during the whole trade war thing, taking some trades where it's just like I saw Donald Trump tweet about something and I got in it before the market realized what was going on. I do think one of the things that's I've been noticing is like on Reddit, because the problem with the trade war is like everybody's got an agenda with it, right? So it's really hard to know like which information to value more and all of these sorts of things. But everybody assumes that it's like, oh, it's trade wars, that's bad, sell all the things. But that's not always how it works out, right? Some days it's sell, but some days you get positive news on negotiations proceeding or something, and then it's a big buy-in, and what you really get is just high volatility, you know? Financial Juice is giving news for free now subscription. Well, so I think that the that they have like the free Squawk, but that it's like delayed 15 seconds or something like that. I don't know. How long have we been using it now? It's been over 5 years. I think they're a really good service. And I have a affiliate link for Financial Juice in the video description. The war is where the real money is made. I remember during the trade war, some people making big trades, and I made some big trades and some bad trades, but then like in the end, I had caught it. Oh man, this still pisses me off. I had the trade at the very end, and like they screwed it up. Like I bought, it's like, oh, this is a buy. I buy it, and then they do the press conference, and it comes all the way back because some people are like, nah, this is fake. But it wasn't fake, and then on Monday, you know, they capped back up. And I couldn't hold it over the weekend, so sucks for me, but I had it right. And that was a big winner too. Oh, that makes me so mad. It seems like whenever I really catch a big one that's like really can like propel me into like the next kind of, you know, sizing up the account and things like that, it comes back on me. So the treasuries are okay, don't need to worry about that. The treasuries are kind of like turning back down. They didn't seem to like that PMI. So are we going to get non-fudged numbers from now on? Well, so if we're talking about you think that the unemployment numbers are fudged or whatever, then I think that really comes down to things like seasonal adjustments, etc. That will change with February. Yes. So the Friday number is going to be significantly different. And we'll see what we got. I really do feel like, you know, I'm unemployed. I don't have a day job. This is basically my job right now. It is. I should just present it like that. This is my job right now. I don't have another job. I would like another job though. And I'm going around and I'm seeing lots of people that don't have another job, and it's really, really hard for them. And some of these people I'm reading from, it's been over a year. I think most of these people, they're kids, and so like it's not a huge deal. But for somebody like me, have a house, have a family, like it's a huge deal. I wouldn't last a year. I don't know how I would be able to go a year being unemployed and survive. I guess I could maybe withdraw from my 401k. But I feel like that these people are being ignored. Like it's super, super hard, and everybody says, no, the economy is going great. The job market is great. Like you shouldn't be having any problems. I think these people are being ignored, and I think that there is a point at which it matters. I think that there's a point at which you will see like the employment market just like crater really, really quickly. And all of a sudden it'll be like, oh my gosh, maybe we are going to have a recession. How come we did not see this coming? And everybody will say, well, the signs were all there. If you just had to look beyond the headline numbers. I really think that's what's going to happen. How much do you make per month? Like a few $100s. I don't know if I'm supposed supposed to or allowed to tell you exactly how much I make from the stream, but it's a few $100s. But it kind of depends on, like, you know, people buy affiliate links and things like that, right? I guess right now net it's basically zero. Like I think that we're we're not at zero. We are making more than we spend, but only a little bit. Oh, from your trading? Well, we're not live trading right now. Would not recommend live trading when you're unemployed. Like, that's just, the chances are you'll lose it. I don't know. I've been doing okay, but I don't have enough. I'm not going to gamble, like, you know, my house on it. Are you kidding me? You know? No. So we just mostly take sims. I can show you where's the position. Well, you can see it right there above my head. That's all of the trading since the beginning of the year. Really to really live on it, I really have to, you know. This comes back to this thing, like, over and over again. It's like, everybody has this idea that you're gonna day trade for a living. Well, like, you can make a lot of money in stocks, you can, but like scalping futures, it's not a practical living, guys. It's really not. I hate to say it because it probably turns a lot of people off, but it's the truth, man. If that's what you have in your mind, you need to rethink things. Well, there was a little bit of a sell after that news, but we are still back to 06. So it is going to be the ISM number that really decides where this market's going to go. Looking at the FX expiries. Some of the days where the expiries board may not factor in too much, and even more so with a lack of significant expiries near the opening gap levels for the dollar pairs. Is all about emotions right now in markets, and Trump's tariffs are the ones causing waves and will be a bigger issue to pay attention to in the next few days. Okay. Another thing on my mind is usually on a Monday. I'm like, okay, it's go time. I've got to get out all of the job applications and then finish writing a script so we can record a video and yada yada. But my wife's working today, so I'm watching the kids. I think I will still pull the laptop out and try and do stuff that way. There's a few things that I really would like to do today, no matter what, and not tomorrow, Wednesday. Yeah, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Friday. Maybe I ask my parents to come and help on Thursday. I don't know. But like then it gets to like, oh, okay, but what would I do with the extra time? Well, I can make my own platform in Rust. But I would only get so far with that in that amount of time. So I don't know. You know what I did the other day? I was just like, okay, I want to continue leveling up in Rust, so let's do like some leak code questions and that sort of a thing. And like the way that Rust works like ruins a lot of leak code questions because it has all of these filters. So like you just have to know which filters are available to you. You don't end up writing for loops and all of these other sorts of things that people think about. Yeah. Okay, so here's the poll. 30 seconds. I'll pull up. I'll maybe take some sim trades on this. Let's see. Remember that there's the headline PMI and there's also a prices paid. Last time prices paid was 54.8. So, and that kind of hurt. Oh my. Okay. Oh, yeah, this isn't as bad as I thought, actually. Come on. So ISM manufacturing PMI 50.9 versus expected 49.9, so higher than expected. Prices paid 54.9 versus the 54.8 expected. And the previous of 52.5. Did I say 54.8 was the previous? No, I got that wrong. I'm sorry. So I did okay on that, but that contract didn't get filled. I don't like that. I think I'm just gonna try and scratch it. Okay, well, that wasn't too bad. Let's give it a second. Recenter to keep track of that spot. Okay. And so I can see that I can probably get a tick there between 30 and 30.5. Not as much volume coming through as I would expect, though. Like, there was the big spike on the news, and like the activity died out really, really quickly. There's an iceberg at 03. Okay, I made the right call scratching that. A little bit of a slip there. But 04.5 is buyer cost basis, so don't necessarily want to mess with that. That would be like if I had a buy, I would probably take profits there. Let's reset it at 04.5. So this could be interesting, because you know we were expecting the news flow to dominate things here, but I think that you've got a potential setup for some trap traders pushing us through the highs. That would be a really interesting move if that's what happened. I kind of feel like it's too fantastic of a scenario, like, you know? I just need to not subscribe to the recruiting hell subreddit. It's just so depressing to read these. Burnt out, depressed, my girl has left me exhausted. Just a reminder to everyone that you're doing good, smiling through depression and showing up as best you can do to interview when everything falls apart. Shouldn't be normal, but I have to believe this is the pain people just sometimes have to go through before they can come out the other side where good things are. Well, I don't feel depressed, but it's, man, it's, I feel like sometimes I feel like this is as bad as it can get. I feel so bad for my wife, like when she has to go to work in the morning and kids are like making it difficult when going to bed. Part of it is kind of like, well, now you know how I felt for this long, but I think it's so much worse for her because it doesn't hit me very much, but it's killing her. Hey, there's 06. There's some acceleration here. I think I'm gonna go for a tepid one here. So the risk that we're running here is that was it, right? There was a decent amount of volume that just hit there, so that might have been enough to like have things rebalanced, and there's not really more trap traders, but we do appear to be in a situation where like a bunch of people got themselves off sides because of the PMI. Now, the S&P 500 is not buying right now. If it was across the board stuff and maybe like the dollar was coming back down, that'd be something else, but that's not what's going on. So it looks like this is just the treasuries. And again, with the amount of volume that I'm seeing and everything, it could just be an endogenous move. It could just be trap traders. I'm going to take it. Yeah, I still want to do 09. Like, you're going to see, like, profit taking before the 10. I could do 09 half, but I feel like that's cutting it a little bit too close. So, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. So that gives me 128 on the day. Hey, look, our total profit is 1,000 now on a month. What do you guys think? Should I size up to 20 contracts? Just trade professionally for the rest of my life. See, it's just like I can't help it either. It's like you're winning, and it's and you start to fight. Oh, maybe I actually could. Maybe the next trade determining whether I eat tomorrow or not. Maybe that's just me. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Seeing oil take another little bit of a move lower too, by the way. Very curious about the move in oil. Very curious. Really seeing the Japanese yen come through hard there. Is there something going on in Japan? I don't know. I am seeing the dollar start. You know, now you can see it in the dollar. Maybe it happens across the board. Let's see. I don't want to get anybody too excited, but because well, okay, like what we just saw there, that was like the endogenous move. That's as much as I'm for sure able to expect off of the endogenous move. But I think it's gone a little bit further than that. I feel like that it's been that it was really accelerated. I think that I now have enough flow to support the idea of a large meta order coming in long. So why would I see a large meta order coming in long? Could it just be that it was always going to be there? Perhaps. But I in this kind of situation, I think that I have to expect some I don't want to call it insider trading, but like maybe we're about to get a tariff headline and somebody already kind of knows it's coming, sort of a thing. You know, like that could be at play here. So let's keep an eye on this. I took two profits a little bit too early though, didn't I? Okay, well there's some big I don't want to mess with it here with this spot here in the 5-year. Or do we have, how far do we have to go before we get to, oh man, 26.5. Man, I was wondering if the cost basis lines would give us any clues, but I think that those are probably too far away for us to worry about. The P&L is perfectly level though. I know, right? Almost, I'm almost concerned that like people will come in and they'll be like, no, that's not real. That's too round of a number. The thing that I worry about, so come and look at the, here's like the results. There's yeah, you don't even have to scroll. There's all of the trades. So out of like a dozen or so trades there's 2 losses, but the one loss is really big and never went favorable. So that should be a lot smaller. So some evidence in my own results to suggest that I'm really just taking on big risk to get those results, right? So I got to keep an eye on that. So remember I was asking a new build. I did, I don't know if you've installed the latest version that's from on the paid Discord. I don't know if I sent it to you directly. I'm just going to put it up for download. I think that one version is one for... Oh, you're talking about something else. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if there's really anything that you can actually pull out of that, though. Does look like that they are starting to moderate here. Have an open mind. Well, it's no, I don't have an open mind. I mean, I want to be like, okay, that's interesting, but like, I unless I can empirically test it, you know. What we need to do, is we give this, take pictures of it, and give it to ChatGPT, and point out, you know, or ChatGPT, the aberrations in the data, to train it a little bit, and then we can pass it things and have it trade based off of that, and see if ChatGPT is profitable with it. Right? That's we can do that sort of thing now, and then that would be like better empirical testing of the strategy, perhaps. I don't know. You know what? I think I've kind of been thinking about. Oh, was 180? Oh, that's not too bad. Usually things like that are way more expensive. Is surprised that the 10-year note has top edge. It can rise forever with fixed yield. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Vital. Knowing how to trade the 10-year is a real edge, especially in this. Look at this in the S&P 500. You're getting screwed right now, and it's volatile. It's, I bet you a lot of the SPU traders are really hurting right now, whereas in the treasuries we just got a really good clean trend. That as long as you were long through part of that, you made money. I could have made way more than I did. I took it off at 09. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more ticks in that, and I took one of the contracts off really quick too, so could have doubled it. I wasn't expecting that. I was just expecting them to run for the next little spot because I thought it was an endogenous move. But again, what I'm seeing kind of makes me think that the more is going on than that. Okay, White House says negotiations on tariffs are ongoing. And let's read the 4X live article on this. CNBC reports that negotiations are ongoing, tariffs, and that Trump is expected to speak later today. She also noted that negotiations with China don't appear to be happening today. The reporter highlighted that one of the asks was 0 U.S. deaths from fentanyl, but also noted that there were hopes Canada would offer huge spending on border security. But the S&P 500 isn't buying on that, so. It's another big order at 14. Dude, if they blast through this one, then we're really in a wild move. I don't know, man. Yeah. We're getting into prices now from like that FOMC meeting from December. Like that, we're now back to that gap. So that's pretty wild, actually. Well, they took a step back for now. There's a lot of volume there at 13. I don't know, man. Like, people just piled into that. That was really crazy. It really must have been. It must have been. Okay, PMI news came out. They sold, and then, people knew that CNBC was going to report, and then CNBC reported, and that maybe that's why that. But if that was the case, why did only the treasuries react? The currencies were reacting. The equity market didn't move up, though. We just get volatility in the equity market. Well, I'm going to have to run with that. But it was news. That's my best theory at the moment, at least. Doesn't matter, made money. Okay, so there was a big order at 14, it pulled. And the next step is at 17. Okay, but 5-year is coming into cost basis territory now. So either they have to catch their breath here, or this really is like an insane move and something's going on that we really need to figure out. It'd be a fake move. No, I don't think so. I mean, you don't buy 20,000 contracts to fake people, Okay, so I was about to say this, and then I don't know why I just kind of got distracted. But going back to this, I think one of the issues that I have with so much of what people talk about in price action, and especially in the whole smart money concepts world, is that the way that they look at the market I think that there's a, kind of like the linchpin. There's like this one key point that I think that they're off on, and that is that what really controls the market is the market orders. Like you really cannot make super effective predictions about where the market is going to go on short time frames without being able to predict what the market orders are going to be. So if I come in and I look at like where the cost basis is and where support and resistance is and all of these sorts of things, because they all have this idea that like past market action is going to predict what's going to happen next. And what I find is that only works when like nothing's actually going on. And then when there's something actually going on, there's an actual flow coming into the market. The only thing that's predictive is if you were able to predict the flow. So in this instance, I was predicting a flow, but the flow that I was predicting was an endogenous move. Now we've gotten way further than that. The market orders came in 20K. They pushed the market. You don't just buy 20,000 contracts at market to like fake people out and reverse it. Like it just doesn't work that way. Somebody's buying it. They want to buy it. Why? Why can't ZN be like this all the time? I mean, it makes moves like this pretty regularly, though. Not that strong. That was crazy. Yeah, that's why the what I'm gonna call it, the fundamentals instead of the technical side, is so important for us. It's just that the fundamental side is actually kind of like there are parts of it that are technical too, so it doesn't really. I don't think that dichotomy actually works. But being able to say like, here's sentiment, here's all of these things. There was this piece of news, there was this. And that's causing people to buy or sell. That's TLT call writers getting hammered. You know, interestingly enough, I didn't see the spread change that much through this. I guess the 2 and 10 year steepened. This is coming back pretty hard though. That's a significant pullback now. It's getting really volatile. Okay, now the S&P 500 is getting really volatile. Money markets boost bets on ECB rate cuts. Now price in a depot rate at 1.85 in December from around. Nah, that can't be that. But that there's. Oh, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it is.
Block sell.
Dude, what is this? This is crazy. I am not touching this. I do not understand what's going on, and these are monster moves. Wow. That can't just be from the euro, is it? I mean, the euro did move there, but the way that the S&P 500 jumped. Okay, oh, okay. The Mexican president is talking, saying that she spoke with Trump and she had positive comments. It's a she, right? I can't remember. That's why the market's moving. Oh, this is exactly what I'm warning about. Like, right? Like, yeah, you think, oh, it's bad for the economy, sell all of the things, but then like on a day-to-day basis, it's like, maybe something good happened. Maybe they're like having negotiations and that ends up being a buy, right? So on a day trading basis, it gets kind of crazy. Okay, but I still want to see, okay. S&P 500, we're still down in here. Is that enough? Is that enough to boost us back? It could. I don't know. Definitely a move here though. One of the issues is that that could be that, and there could still be like a huge pullback before it does it, right? Like I can't tell you how many times I've done something where it's like, oh, okay, this is a buy in the S&P 500, and then it goes, oh, I'll stop out here, and then right, That happens all the time. But
Block
that
line.
is a significant development. So we should expect some significant volatility come through here. She says tariffs are paused for a month. Oh, wait. That's not right. Why would that be a sell in the treasuries? Mexican president says tariffs delayed? Question mark? Mexican President Scheinbaum says tariffs are paused for a month from now. Why is that a sell in the treasuries? What? Okay. So I was right earlier that like there was a piece of news that was coming and some people knew, huh? So this is one of the things you got to deal with in futures. I'm gonna teach you something that like most people aren't gonna teach you, okay? Because it's kind of like you're not supposed to say this, okay? Government insiders can trade, corporate insiders can't, right? So like this is information that is considered public information. It's just not everybody in the public knows it yet, right? We have started to work today on security and business. Oh yeah, this is gonna, did I really only get one contract in that? Okay, so I'm making a gutsy play here. We just had a really strong drop back in the treasuries when the headline kind of hit the rest of the market. I kind of wonder if that wasn't like maybe somebody that had been like building the position and taking profits on it. But I think that tariff negotiations, the first day of this going well, that should speak well for interest rates. Because the only reason why interest rates have kind of been getting higher and treasuries have been selling off is because of concerns of inflation. And if they work all of that out, then that should be, that should allow the Federal Reserve to cut rates. So I think that overall throughout the day that this will be a buy in the treasuries. But in the short term, maybe it's causing a sell because of different dynamics going on with the different currencies and maybe people taking profits and so forth. So I might take a bunch of heat on this. This is going to be a really nerve-wracking trade for me. It's going lower. But I think I buy this. Let's see if I'm right. This is where we put to the test. If we can read because this is where, okay, like just what you're reading of the news is, this is a good thing overall, okay? That doesn't necessarily mean that it's a buy or a sell in your particular asset because it's a dynamic system and that could be causing buying and selling in another asset and the correlations matter more or things like that, right? So I'm trying to work out this dynamic system, but I do think it is a buy in the treasuries. Was that a 50-point jump in the S&P 500? Yep, it was. From 59.51 to 50. to 6,000 now. This is wild. It is wild. Come on, come on. I almost kind of wonder now if they're not selling the treasuries because they're buying the ES so hard. Is that what's going on? Oh, dude, that may be it. Maybe that is it. The headline hit. They dropped their treasury hedges. Oh, but were they really long treasuries and short ES? That doesn't make much sense either. I don't know, man. This is gonna be an interesting one. Probably the easier trade is to just buy ES, right? And try and hold through the volatility for the gap. For the gap fill. Come on. So close right there for my first initial little kind of like build off of this range area. I guess I should have waited a little bit longer before starting to build out my position. I could be starting to build out my position now and I'd be in a better spot. I can feel the adrenaline. My mouth is all dry. The adrenaline's getting me. L3 half has kind of been the bottom end of this. So I'll reset it there. I don't like that iceberg there at 03 half. 70 points to close the gap. Yeah, the S&P 500 still has a long ways to go. I do wonder if the treasuries are selling because of the S&P 500 is buying. It could just be as simple as that. So I gotta warn you guys. That this wouldn't be the first time when it's like, oh, negotiations are going well, and Mexico or Canada or China or whoever it is comes out and makes some headline, and then Donald Trump comes out later and like smacks it down, right? Donald Trump is going to speak later today, so like we've been told they already plan on speaking later today. Also, should note that the liquidity in the treasuries is still relatively light. They're only putting up 2,500 on there when we were in 3s and 4s earlier. But today, well, so a move like that usually cannot be explained by inventory distribution. I think in this particular case, we could say, so you get this right here, like, we had this buying and then it dumps. So it could be this thing dumping and taking profits, for instance. But, you know, you look at the market orders. I don't think you can. That's new money coming into the market short for some reason. Or to expand on what I was saying earlier, we as retail traders have a tendency to think that what's going on in the market is related to what was happening earlier in the market and where we were before, when usually it is new orders, market orders coming in that are the most dominant force in where price moves. If, you know, I might have been able to say, well, you know, the dollar is dropping, and because of correlations and all of that, that causes us to move this way, right? But that would only make sense if this was all kind of happening without that much volume being traded in ZN. But we're seeing a lot of activity in ZN, so... Okay, she says that she proposed the tariff pause to Trump. For her to come, if you were to come in and undermine her and say, actually, there is not one, that would be like a huge deal. I don't think that she would be coming out with the press conference and saying the things that she's saying if there was not a pause. So I think that there is indeed a pause. Man, the treasuries are just so volatile here. Trump markets, how I have missed the right. No, man. I may have to swing this one. We'll see. Okay, she says that Trump insisted on addressing the trade deficit with Mexico, and she pushed back on that. Okay, so this is actually a really interesting thing. So I don't know about what it is with Mexico, but in Canada, we have a trade deficit with Canada. And why do we have a trade deficit with Canada? Well, because Canada does not have the type of refineries that they need. Let me back up. This is like, I'm going to tell you a bunch of complicated stuff. But Donald Trump overall just hates that there's a trade deficit. He doesn't think that there should be a deficit, that we should be equal, essentially. And he wants to make that happen. But Canada and Mexico are pushing back and saying, well, here's why there's a deficit and here's why the deficit actually benefits you. So with Canada, the case is that Canada gets all this oil, but the oil that they have is like sour crude. It's not, it's not like this stuff like you get out of Saudi Arabia that's really easy to deal with. So you have to have a certain type of refinery that they just don't have in Canada. So the reason why there's that trade deficit is that Canada sells that oil to us at a discount because of the type of oil it is, because we can then refine it and turn it into good crude and gasoline and things like that. And so that's why we kind of have this deal. So we benefit, we get cheaper energy prices than we otherwise would. And the net result of that is that we have a trade deficit. And so with these leaders, what they're going to do in the negotiations is they're going to say, okay, we understand, like, maybe there are some things that should change. Like, we need to secure our border. We need to do this. We need to do that. But this shouldn't necessarily result in the trade deficit coming back out, because the trade deficit is actually good for you, with us at least. So her pushing back on that's a key kind of point of contention, because that's kind of be the thing that, like, I don't know if Trump agrees on. Oh, okay. They wanted a permanent pause, but they agreed to 1 month. Okay, well. Gonna adjust my take profit if it's to get there, to move it to the cost basis line. Actually, we'll do it just ahead of it. Yeah, well, in terms of volatile news-driven markets, this isn't anywhere even close to the craziest things that we saw during Trump's first term, is it? But it was the biggest move we've seen in a long time. That's for sure. Okay, so the E-mini just like okay, Donald Trump is confirming it. Donald Trump is confirming it. That's why the S&P 500 is pushing further. And the treasuries sell a little bit more. I really am kind of thinking that maybe the treasuries are selling on the straight equity correlation. But again, if they're able to negotiate and avoid tariffs altogether, which I'm very hopeful at the moment that they do, the Federal Reserve should be able to continue reducing interest rates. And you know what? I think that the Federal Reserve could continue to lower interest rates as early as like March, but potentially, if it goes fast enough. But for now, the flow is just not cooperating with me. I'm not seeing like more selling necessarily. So I think I can hold on, but it's an awfully dicey trade, and I am gonna swing it. Like I'm gonna hold it until I don't know. I would like to see 110, to be honest with you. Are you day trading? Am I wrong? What do you mean? Yeah, I mean, this is you can see the position here. So I'm taking a big risk here against this move in the treasuries. Trump is not answering the phone. No. Okay, whatever. They're confirming that there is a pause. Now the question is, what about Trudeau? Was it just Mexico and not with Canada? Because Trudeau's being a twat or something? I don't know. Possibility. Yep. Trump is confirming. They're speaking to him right now. Your Lenovo is too small for the screen. Oh, sorry. You want to have the screen centered right here, or I'm just drawing a bunch of yellow in the kind of upper left quadrant of the screen. That's where I would be watching. So is my overall P&L got, yeah. That's funny. This is that I could be losing a whole month all in this one trade, but I'm holding on. I'm holding on. I'll hold it off stream, okay? Let's see how far it goes. We'll take those first few contracts off at 08 and then try and let the rest ride. Mexico will say some crap this week and Trump will be like, pause is over. So, what I'm seeing from the Mexican president, suggests to me that they're taking this seriously and that they should be able to make a deal. You know, like when Trudeau last week, his comments was like, oh, they're not going to play ball and they're going to hurt. Right. But kind of what happens is, okay, you have a pause. You say the right things in the media interviews and everything else to show them that you're really doing it. Right. And the market rallies and that really boosts, like, everybody's happy. Like, that increases the probability that, like, you continue to play along, right? So, like, when we had this sort of stuff with China, it was not like that. It was not like, oh, well, okay, you're right. We shouldn't be putting, you know, sending fentanyl to Canada and yada, yada, yada. Like, they were kind of, like, stubborn the whole way. So I really do think that this is a positive thing that should, in my opinion, cause, at the very least, the overnight gap to be retraced in the S&P 500. So now in the treasuries, you got like a slightly different set of things going on, because remember there was like that hawkish Federal Reserve meeting. And then we had another Federal Reserve meeting since then. So even though the treasuries have been selling because of concerns about tariffs and so forth, and if they make a deal, that should mean less concerns about inflation. The absolute value of the treasuries and where they're at, that they might not think that, oh, this, you know, the interest rates should actually be lower. So it might be a more complicated question in the treasuries. But there's still some pretty significant flows coming through. I do think that we should be able to get this trade. Gonna take a small loss. I really want to, I don't know. The thing is, Octavius is like, if this was live, it definitely wouldn't be doing this. If I was doing like a YOLO like sim account, or sorry, like a funded trader account, okay, maybe I would be in like this, but I don't think that I would have liked to have played it the way that I did. You know, like it came, I've held way too much heat for what I'm trying to do. So I'm not quite sure what to do, but I don't want to take it off because I still think that we should see flows continue to come in long. But we are at a spot where I could potentially scratch it. Just finished the price increase exercise of the company work at, even getting close to a 25% increase or bumping the minimum order value to those levels would have been a total pushback. You're saying that a 25% tariff would like really be pretty devastating to a lot of businesses, right? Yeah. Especially since they kind of closed this de minimis order exemption. Like I think the biggest loser out of all of the what we've seen so far is Temu. Like this whole ecosystem that's basically based on you get clothes that are like only $10 and then sell them on the TikTok shop, and like I think that's going away. And if the clothes aren't that cheap, then I think that people start to go back towards more quality materials potentially. Paul says good. It probably is good, but any kind of a shift like that comes with economic uncertainty and volatility. So some pain in the short term. The problem is Seth is also at the same time trying to figure out what this will mean for the flow of orders in the job market and not just the treasury market. And in the job market, I'm kind of sitting here like, I think that some companies might still be really nervous and not be hiring people. And interest rates going to have to come down, I think, or I really think interest rates will have to come down a good clip for some of these businesses to really start hiring technology people again. Some combination of interest rates lowering and the chat GPT, collapsing. So that's the other thing, is I think that they're hiring less because these CEOs do believe that their workers should be able to become more productive. So they shouldn't need as many people. You're dancing around a round number though? Are you talking about 109 even? Maybe. Well, the way that I would look at it is there will be take profit orders ahead of that, and there will be stop loss orders after that. So that held. It's good. It also bounced right at the inventory cost basis short. So the sellers were not willing to take control of the market. So I kind of think that they will come back up to the buyer's cost basis, which is up at 08.5 is kind of the short-term call, and then I would like to hold some of it to see if they don't try to extend the highs at some point tomorrow or overnight. But we'll see. I think it's time for me to get going. I just heard a kid come downstairs, so I will update you guys. If you're on the $3 Discord, I'll post pictures. But otherwise, I will see. Oh, no, wait. We got a video coming here. I should give you guys the link to the video. And I think we can stay for 6 minutes. I want to be able to give you the link when, it's a valid link, I will take a pause here for a second to just check. Oh my gosh, I was muted that whole time. Okay, yeah. Okay, so here's the thing that you got to understand. If you are shipping something from China directly to the consumer, like I buy something on Temu, so they ship it to my house, right? It takes like 2 weeks to get here or whatever, right? It always takes forever when you buy something from Temu. That's the downside of it, okay? As long as the thing is less than $800, then their order is basically exempt, is what it is. So you don't have to pay the tariffs and all of these other things. So there are tariffs that have been on in China that will all of a sudden start to apply to these Temu orders and everything, and to the shipping itself. So just shipping stuff over is way more expensive, and it cuts into their margins so much. It cuts into the margins so much. Like, okay, yeah, an extra $1 is maybe not the end of the world for you. Like, okay, yeah, well, this sexy nightgown, it was $10 before, now it's $11, no big deal. Okay, but for the businesses, it's maybe like no longer worthwhile for them to ship that thing. So like, there is a whole ecosystem that could potentially collapse from all this. It really is. No sound. No, you must be delayed. So the treasury's coming back down here. Kind of not liking this because, okay, so there's two things going on here. One is, okay, is it like, oh, okay, the economy should be fine, no tariffs and everything, but then that means that the economy is too hot and so they won't be able to raise interest, Like, I kind of feel like maybe somebody's making that bet. But then I'm also getting this thing where it's like whenever the trade war thing like this happens, and like there's this counter move that I say doesn't make much sense, and I don't make the big trade. I'm not right on the big trade. Like this is what happened when the trade war ended with China the first time. So as I was like, oh, this is buy, and then it come all the way back. And then the next Monday, it was higher, but I wasn't able to hold through the weekend. And I feel like that's happening to me again. So that's why I'm trying to stick to my guns on this one. Because at first I saw it coming down, and so I went short, right? But then I was like, no, the short doesn't make sense. Short doesn't make sense. Trade war ending should be good for treasuries. And you see the S&P 500 coming back a little bit causes the treasuries to buy a little bit, so it does look like it is equity correlation is possibly at play here. But let's see here. You know, like as the S&P 500 like recovered the gap. Remember the beginning of the stream? I was like, well, what I would like to have happen is somebody comes out. I even laid out the whole scenario of like the thing that could happen that could maybe cause the gap to close today. So, oh my gosh, so funny. Maybe I should try and make a clip out of that. Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, but we should be able to give you guys the link. Okay, here you go. Here's the video for this week. It is about the inventory cost basis. I kind of explain how I'm calculating it. I don't go into like the deep levels of the algorithm. I suppose we could do that if you wanted to, but not in a video because that would be too boring. But please give that a watch if you're in NinjaTrader. Buy the indicator. Or the indicator suite, and if you're not, just leave some comments about it or ask some questions about it. That will really help the channel out. So yeah, this is the video. That's it. That's the one that's like we're just gonna propel us to solving all of our problems and giving us the thanks that we deserve. Awesome, says Vital. Thank you so much. And by the way, Vital, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. I don't have to do that. I will see you guys tomorrow. Unless you're in the $3 Discord, I'll probably continue posting throughout the day in the $3 Discord. But if not, I'll see you tomorrow. In the meantime, stay excellent.